All right, so we have a lot to talk about. Maybe not a lot, but it's very important. The things that are going on around the world today. It is the date of this recording is 9/29, 2025, and there's a lot of stupid people doing a lot of stupid things, and these people are in positions of leadership that supposedly they have been voted into. Okay, now I am. Let's say they were actually voted in by the people they represent. There is no fraudulent or voting scams that actually got them in to their position. But the topic today is going to be UK, the United Kingdom, and all the bullshit their PM and the London mayor and the overall UK police force, what they're doing, what's going on in Europe and Australia. And most of it is regarding the immigration. And most of that, the problem is coming from the Muslim immigrants. Now, all the photos and video clips that I've seen are of military-aged males that shouldn't have even been allowed to come in to the country. If there is a problem in their home country, okay, we'll take in the old, 70 and up, and the women and children. And the cutoff age is 10 years old. Because I'm sorry, but 12-year-old boys can fight. Okay? And if they're growing up in that area and they can't fight and they're that age, that's the fault of the father. All right? And if there is no war in their area, then no, you don't get to come in as a refugee. All right? You can come if you want to move and just get a work visa, but you're not coming in illegally and you're not coming in as a refugee. Because having hundreds of thousands of military-aged males, all Muslim, and now you have a higher crime rate, all Muslims committing the crimes, and these crimes are violent crimes: rape, attempted murder, theft using a weapon. And then the UK government, okay, the PM and all the the Parliament, they're like, oh, it's part of their culture. So no, we're not going to arrest him because he essayed, or I have to use the G before the actual word. So yeah, this guy allegedly raped the 13-year-old girl, but that's part of his culture, that's part of his religion, so we can't arrest him. Bullshit! I'm not sorry. Arrest that guy and prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. Alright? There's no free raping here. That's bullshit. And the crimes that they're getting away with, and the UK police are fucking going after people that are posting fucking posts on the social media, and they're bloody arresting the little boy who said a little comment on Instagram instead of fucking arresting the rapist. Come on, UK. And the civilians, the voters of UK, why haven't you fucking voted them out? You can get 3 million protesters in London, or wherever that was, but you can't fucking vote your PM out. You can't fucking vote your London mayor out. And if there's a fucking fraudulent voting process, then do paper ballots. I mean, and I rarely curse and say the F word and all that, but come on. You're pissing Americans off and you're not even American. Okay? My ancestors were Scottish, English, Irish. So I have a serious, I love Scotland, I love Ireland, and I have sorry English, but you're last, but I have a heart for the UK. All right? The people. I don't really care for the royalty. But you guys are playing victim, at least on the news, and yeah, the silent majority, and supposedly not just 300,000 or 500,000, but 3 million English patriots, or UK patriots, because they probably came up from all around, protested. 3 million. If 3 million of you can come together and protest for freedom of speech and all that, you can do so far more in the legal fashion, okay? Because I'm sorry, UK, Germany, Europe, Australia, Canada, less of Canada, but they're doing some bullshit too. But the news that we're hearing across the pond, if you don't get your representatives under control, there are going to be vigilante mobs that are going to take justice into their own hands. And you know what? I don't want that to happen. It's not going to end well. But that is literally the next step from my point of view. If the UK government does not deport all these fucking illegal aliens who are raping their kids and murdering the civilians, and these cops aren't doing anything about it, the people of the civilians need to stand up and do something about it. And I had, as a police explorer, I've gone on a lot of ride-alongs. I have many police officers that when I think of a police officer, I refer to the ones I know. And the ones I know are outstanding people. And I'm thinking, would they arrest the rapist or the kid who posted a comment on a social media post? And the answer is obvious, okay? In America, we have free speech. I can say literally whatever I fucking want to, and the police and government can't do anything about it unless it's regarding a threat and that I can actually carry it out. And in the process of doing that, that is when they can step in. But a 13-year-old boy waving the English flag and he gets arrested for that. Or another kid gets 2 years in prison because he commented on a post. Oh my gosh. UK, you have fallen. And The civilians, okay, the voters have allowed it to happen, okay, because the London voters voted in their mayor, and you might not have known this, London, but you can vote him out. A vote of no confidence, you do a new vote and get someone else in that actually loves UK, loves England, and really loves London and wants the best for London. The citizens, okay? Not the citizens over refugees or there's a lot of traffic, so I'm driving while I'm doing this. From my point of view, in America, you vote someone in that wants the best for your city, or town, or your country overall. Okay, the most important people to the representative should be the people that voted for them. Not refugees or immigrants that you make a deal with on the down low, say, if you want to come in, my political party, will give you phone, money, a place to stay, all on the taxpayer money, but you have to vote for my party. Okay? That's what's going on. And in Germany, I guess there have been 6 or 7 representatives of the current party that's in charge, or that's supposedly voted in, and 6 of them have been shot. I believe they've been murdered. Okay? What's Germany doing about that? What if, okay, obviously, I'm conservative, Republican, Christian, all that, okay? And if 6 of my representatives were assassinated, you can bet your ass that the Republicans are going to be doing something about it. The legal way at first, okay? And new Republicans would take their place, and there would be security steps that would keep those going for those representative or leadership positions, keep those people safe. And personally, I would be like, the Democrats should be keeping their people safe, okay, to have a fair vote, and whoever wins that fair vote is president, okay? I prefer the person that I vote for to win, but obviously, look at history, I haven't gotten my way for a couple years now. Finally, we get someone in there that's actually doing what they said. And what happens when someone gets voted in and I didn't vote for them? It's like, all right, that sucks. And you keep going. All right? Now, do I think the previous administration, was there voter fraud in that? Yes, absolutely. Was there enough voter fraud to actually change the vote? I believe so. Yet there hasn't been a actual real investigation and a court case, because they're all throwing it out, even though they have plenty of evidence to prove that that election was stolen. And It's like when UK, Germany, Europe, Australia, to the people, where is the line being drawn? I don't want there to be vigilante mobs taking justice in their own hands, but you're getting close to that. I know there are outstanding, I want to say there are outstanding police officers in all these countries that when they get the call to go to someone's house and arrest the 13-year-old boy for posting a comment on a social media post, it's like, no, I will obey all lawful orders. This is not lawful. Go fuck yourself. That's what the officers that I know would say. All right? And if they say, do it or you're under arrest, that's when insubordination should be allowed. And why aren't there police officers that are protesting these unlawful orders? I mean, I want to believe that American officers would do that, especially in red states. I'm talking about Republican states in America. But it's like, how close are we to cops that just want to do their job, keep people safe, and come back home to their families at the end of their shift every day? And they're just willing to, I want to keep my pension, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'll arrest this kid for just posting it as long as I get to keep my pension. Is that really? Are you fucking cowards, UK, London police? How embarrassing. There was a sense of honor and respect toward just police in general, okay? Like in the olden days, the really olden days, when the Magna Carta, that came from England, okay? I believe it's a Magna Carta. I'm sorry, I'm not good with Latin. But the whole justice system that we currently have, I believe a lot of it is based off of English and Roman and some Greek. Those were like the foundation of our current law and justice, the way it's done. And now one of the huge portion of that foundation is arresting people for their speech. And not that these people that are posting or commenting on these posts are doing anything violent or threatening to do so, but it's someone's feelings that are being hurt, okay? And I have had my feelings, well, the little feelings that I have left, they have been like, that wasn't nice to say. I've got a few comments that weren't nice, but you know, who fucking cares? Move on. It's a fucking comment from someone in their basement that can't find anything better to do than to comment on what I've said in a stupid way. Not I am fine with constructive criticism, because you know what, I'm kind of new to this. I try to do research and inform myself of what is going on before I do my podcast. or write my songs. But you know what? There are a lot more informed people out there, and the comments that I get from those, I'm fine with. If I am completely wrong in what I'm saying, or not as informed as I thought I was, please comment and please inform me, and I will do my next podcast talking about that. But from what I've seen, the UK is, the Parliament and the law enforcement are, I still can't believe that all the cops are, they're not doing anything. All the good cops are standing down, and all the beta cops that, yes sir, I will do whatever you want, sir. I mean, sorry, that's a terrible British accent. But are they seriously just drinking their tea and crumpets? Or eating their... I'm trying to joke about the English culture, but it's just... I think it's so much more serious to joke about. The jokes would have been a few years ago, or even a few months ago, and it's more serious, so I'm not going to joke about it. What are the good cops doing? Because I don't hear anything about it. Are they afraid to speak out? Are they afraid to... Well, it's beyond fear. Are they cowards? I'm using that word, coward, because that's what they are. If you're listening to this, or if you know a UK police officer, and they get orders to go to someone's home at 2 o'clock in the morning and arrest a kid or whoever, a British citizen or a UK citizen, and arrest them for a comment or a post that they put on social media, and it's not a threat, it's just Muslims' feelings were hurt, then fuck you. Fuck that cop, fuck that commanding officer that gave the order, or that's supporting that order. You deserve... Seriously, we should bring back the tar and feathering, alright? Or that, the olden days when they bend the criminal over and lock their necks and wrists in that wooden block sort of thing, and they're going to be in pain for a few hours. You leave them in there for a day, 24 hours, and all the cops that have actually completed these orders and arrested these innocent civilians, they should all be put through that. The Parliament, I don't know their actual names, but the representatives that are putting these policies and laws down, they should go through that, or much worse. I mean, putting immigrants, illegal immigrants, above your citizens, is that treason? Aiding the enemy? Because, to tell you the truth, it's the UK, Australia, Europe, you've been invaded, okay? And you don't really have to, yeah, some Muslims have done crimes, violent crimes, but you already have a Muslim mayor in London, and the these Muslims don't really have to do any combat or war, which there's plenty of them to definitely do chaos. But they're having far more babies than the original English citizens. So all they have to do is breed you out of office. All right. The English couple has 2 kids. The Muslim couple, immigrant couple, has 5. In the next 10 years, yeah, that's going to affect the way of life, the parliament, the every position that is in a position of leadership. It's going to be a Muslim. And I have friends that are Muslim. I have worked with Muslims, and the ones that I have worked with are good people. And a few of them, are willing to sit down and talk about our religion, our faith, and the ones that I actually respect are the ones that came from Iraq and Afghanistan and helped our guys as interpreters and fought alongside our guys in Iraq and Afghanistan. Those have earned my respect. And we might disagree on our faith, but I respect you and respect these people. They have earned my respect. Okay? And I am definitely willing. I was sitting down and I talked about Christianity, Islam, and all that, and he was willing to debate with me and talk with me. And you don't really find a lot of that. It's like my respect goes beyond the disagreements that I have for you, and you've earned that. That's rare, and I wish there was more of that. But we'll eventually get to the song that I have set for this week. But why? I don't get it. Okay. You can have, and Tommy Robinson, I believe, is the English guy who's been he's been arrested several times wrongfully, just because he's willing to speak about the wrong things that the British Parliament and government is doing, and this is wrong. I'm going to say something about it, and if all you can do is arrest me, fine, arrest me. And I believe he was one of the ones that was behind and started this 3 million member protest. And that UK, England, if you can do that, you can do so much more on the legal side. Okay? I don't want to call you guys an army yet. Okay? I want to say there's hope for the UK, for Europe, and Australia. The silent majority needs to stop being silent. Okay? I guess there are Muslim courts being put up. There are Muslims going around and telling the English citizens, you are dressed too revealing, you're not, you should be covering your hair, you should be wearing the Muslim female coverings, your whole body should be covered. Or was it France or Germany I think it was Germany, that this one guy is trying to go after women in the park and saying, I have needs, I have needs that in his culture, a non-Muslim woman is free to do whatever they want with. They are below them. And Germany has allowed these so-called refugees or illegal immigrants or whatever to come in, and instead of these immigrants or refugees abiding by the host country's laws and adapting to their culture, that country's government is allowing these men to do whatever they want, pretty much. Rape, theft, whatever. Just don't hurt us. Don't. Excuse me. No. If I went to a different country, I would preferably learn their language before I even enter their country. I would get a job there. I would want to be I would want to add. I would want to help. I would want to benefit that community, not take away from that community. Okay. Why aren't these refugees or immigrants being held to the same level? Okay, especially if there's a war going on in let's say I was coming from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq. Okay, my country's going downhill. I want to move, and I want to move to Germany. Okay, so I preferably get a worker's visa, a permanent resident visa, or whatever. I enter legally, I learn the language, and I adapt to their culture. Why isn't Germany, Europe in general, UK, like all that stuff, why aren't they holding these people to the same level? But instead they're adapting to the Muslim culture, Sharia law, and the Muslims want to put up a Sharia law court and then start having the host country civilians. If a Muslim says you're under arrest for showing too much skin, so you have some Muslim men take this person to Sharia court and find them guilty, and now they're beating this this German girl for not having enough clothes on, not covering up enough. Or she tell this German girl is being followed and harassed by a Muslim man or a group of Muslim men, and they grab her, and since she's not willing to service them, they're going to arrest her and put her through Sharia law and beat her for not doing her duty as a non-Muslim woman for the Muslim man. I'm sorry. No. Why aren't the German men doing something about it? And in this case, the post that I saw, a German man did step in, and he called the cops, and then this man put himself in front of the German girl and protected her and prevented the rape. Okay. But what did the cops? Excuse me. What did the German cops do when they arrived? Did they arrest the German man? Did they arrest the German girl for not complying to the immigrant's wishes? Or did they actually arrest the immigrant for harassing the girl? And whatever other charges they could have put on him. But the clip ended, and I don't know what happened. But points to the German man who stood up for the German girl. And I have to hope that there are millions of more men like that German man in Germany. But why aren't you voting the representatives out? The representatives work for you, the civilian. It's not the other way around, okay? At least in America. That's the way it should be, okay? There's nothing stopping Europe, Germany, the UK from making things happen. And if you want to look up the American Constitution and literally copy and paste, and vote that in as your Constitution, and pretty much copy the American Foundation, go for it. Okay? It would be awesome if Germany, the UK, Australia, get rid of the UN, because they're doing far more damage than good. You can have a team of nations team up and support each other, an alliance that doesn't have a authority over the group of nations. Okay? A basic foundation. Okay? Most of Europe is supposedly Christian. Okay? So have a few foundational Christian laws or agreements, like if a nation goes up against you, we'll have your back, and that goes around the table, okay? And all laws should be based off the Ten Commandments, or something like that, okay? Treat others like you want to be treated, okay? Basic laws, like no murder, no rape, and there's a difference between, of course, self-defense and murder. I don't know why that. If you heard a beeping, sorry. I'll try to edit that out, but. Anyway, there are things that need to happen in these nations, UK, Germany, Europe in general, Australia. You need to fix the problem, and the only people that can fix it are the civilians, preferably through their vote, okay? Through their voice. And if 3 million people can protest in London, I think they can force the change in the laws, get rid of this bullshit feelings law. Like if a Muslim if his or her feelings were hurt by this social media post, well, keep scrolling. That's what we do in America. If I don't like a post, I keep scrolling. And if I'm urged to comment back regarding that post, then I comment back. Okay? I'll give you an example. Okay? I hate it when I see, a man beating on a woman, or a woman beating on a man. Okay? It's not that they're usually in a relationship or whatever, and in the cases that I've seen, okay, the woman is hitting the man, okay, and she is using the psychological thing that boys were taught never hit a girl. And I am all for that as long as the girl never hits a man, never attacks a man. Okay, self-defense is different. But when the girlfriend or wife or whatever is hitting the man, and the man's just taking it, even though he could do so much damage to the woman, and the woman, I've seen a lot of this too, the woman's like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be a man? Taunting the man to hit her, not really knowing the power behind that man's hit. So I see this post of a wife hitting her husband, and it's supposed to be a joke, but there is no joke when spousal abuse is not a joke. Okay? It needs to be taken seriously, and it shouldn't be joked about. Okay? So I leave a comment about how if it was the other way around, the husband would be in jail. But since the wife is beating the husband, it's okay. And the responses that I've gotten from that comment I made that comment almost a year and a half ago. I'm still getting responses from that comment. Said, like, what an idiot, it's a joke, can't you get a joke? And even more serious, mean words that are attempted to hit my, bash my manhood and all that stuff. And I don't respond to those because those are just assholes and stupid idiots who don't take this as serious as I do. Okay? Because I have seen the victims, the wives that have been beaten. Like as a police explorer, I've gone on ride-alongs, and we've gone to these type of calls. And when you see the wife bleeding from the face, and the husband's too drunk to, he can barely stand, but he can beat his wife. Or the kid that's been beaten by his single mom that's been drunk and all that, and the kid's bruised and black-eyed, and it's just so much more serious than these assholes that are posting jokes about beating their husband for not taking the trash out when they want to, or he's snoring and the wife smacks him to make him stop snoring, and then fakes going back to sleep, and the guy wakes up, it's like, oh, what's that? But if the roles were reversed and it was technically a joke, and the husband smacks the wife for snoring, but someone sees that on the post, that husband he'd go to jail, especially if he was in the UK. It's like, sir, we've seen your post, and because the cop necessarily has observed the violent act, the man can go to jail. But if the same cop observed the wife smacking the man for snoring, he or she would probably laugh. Ha ha, how funny. Yet, in reverse, the man would go to jail. This has been a long intro. So let's hear the song, okay? The song's about a young girl who's been raped by a immigrant, And the country that she loves or loved, the people that she thought would protect her, isn't doing it. They're turning their back on her, and she's being treated as the criminal.
Please reduce speed.
Come on. She's being treated as the criminal instead of the actual criminal. And the criminal gets, she's told, we're not pressing charges on the rapist because in his culture, it's okay to do what he did. And you just have to deal with it. Move on. Such is life, okay? Stop being such a squeaky wheel, okay? There's no oil for you. You're not getting anything from this, so shut up. So let's listen to the song, and then we'll talk more about it, all right?
I was only a child, just a voice in the dark, lost in a silence that buried the scars. They called it tradition, they called it a norm, but I was a child, torn into form. The screams in my throat were swallowed by lies, while the people in power just covered their eyes. Evil wore a smile while they turned away, and justice grew colder with each passing day. They said it's not their fault, it's just who they are, but that lie left me shattered, a permanent scar. Excuses in the dark where innocence bled. The truth was abandoned and silence was fed. Reports in the files that nobody read, whispers of shame that the leaders left dead. They chose their own image, their power, their face, while children were broken and lost in disgrace. The evil was clear, yet they never admit. They silenced the victims, they buried the grid. They said it's not their fault, it's just who they are, but that lie left me shattered, a permanent scar. Excuses in the dark where innocence bled. The truth was abandoned and silence was fed. How can they call it culture when it's nothing but crime? How can they trade away children for time? The blood on their hands will never be clean when they shield the abusers and silence her screams. They said it's not their fault, it's just who they are, but no God, no belief could excuse what we are. Excuses in the dark where evil was fed, but the voices are rising, we're breaking the trend. You left us abandoned, tent from our cries. But truth has no master, and justice won't die.
Lighting up, flashing lights, kick the door, no rights inside. Not for crime, not for pain, just for words you wrote online. They blindfold truth, they choke the flame, protect the guilty, shift the blame. Children cry but they look away, while they silence the brave.
Shadows' eyes, we can't obey. Freedom slipping day by day. Digital leash, iron hand.
Do you see what they've planned? The UK police are cowards, hunting voices, not the crime. Arresting truth in the midnight hours. Free speech fading out of time. Digital ID, chains in disguise, tracking your soul, your thoughts, your lies. Stand up, resist, don't kneel, don't hide, or freedom dies tonight. Posts and memes are now a threat. Opinions jailed while rapes forget. Hypocrisy draped in a badge of blue. Who will they come for next? It's you. Rise of the system, coded lies. Digital prisons in the sky. Speak the truth, they call it hate, but silence seals your fate. UK police are cowards, hunting voices, not the crime. Arresting truth in the midnight hours. Free speech fading out of time. Digital ID, chains in disguise, tracking your soul, your thoughts, your lives. Stand up, resist, don't kneel, don't hide, or freedom dies tonight. Imagine a world where thought is a crime, where every step, every breath is defined by codes, by screams, by hands unseen. The nightmare futures already been. The UK police are cowards, but the people won't comply. Tear the chains, reclaim the power. Truth will never die. Digital ID, shackles of night. We'll break the code, ignite the fight. Voices unite, the system divide, or freedom die They open the gates. They let the monsters in. Now the children are fed to the dark. And the cowards stay silent. Germany, your heroes bled. 6 were shot, their voices dead. You bowed your head, you chose to hide while monsters feast on what's inside.
Government selling out the night, feeding the children to the bite.
Cowards kneel while shadows grow. The truth is clear, you let it show. Feeding the monsters, hear the cry. Children broken, sacrifice. Germany, your soul is sold. Coward silence, hearts turn cold. The UK sleeps, Australia lies. Europe drowns in cowards' ties. But Poland stood, refused the shame. The last to guard their people's name. Leaders feasting, futures burn. Every warning never learned. History marks the coward's grave. Only the brave will say. Feeding the monsters, hear the cry. Children broken, sacrifice. Germany, your soul is sold. Coward silence, hearts turn cold. No more hiding, no more lies. The fire burns behind your eyes. Rise before it's all erased. Cowards vanish, the brave replace.
No more hiding, no more lies. The fire burns behind your eyes. Eyes before it's all erased.
Cowards vanish, the brave replace. Feeding the monsters, face the flame. Cowards fall, consumed by shame. Stand or perish, choose your fate. Be the brave before too late.
Alright, so it's a very sad song, especially if you look through, if you put yourselves in the shoes, those little shoes, of the victims of these rapes and sexual and essays. And then they're told that, hey, that's just part of their culture. Deal with it. Next. And there's no justice. Well, if the government, if those who are responsible to, it is their responsibility to conduct and to dish out justice. That is their job. That is what they have been hired to do. Okay? And they don't do it. These people, these men and women, and the police officers, the lawyers, the judges, they are held, or should be held, to a higher standard. Okay? And if these prosecutors do not prosecute the crimes, in doing that and not prosecuting crimes, they should be arrested for that and prosecuted for not doing their job. And they should go to jail for that. And the fact that they are not prosecuting these rapists and just allowing it to happen and telling the cops to not even, it's like, send the victim to the hospital, get her patched up, and go to your next call. If the prosecutor, the police, the judges don't do their job, the people will. And when the people do take justice into their own hands, they got a rope or a firearm, and justice will happen. And if it's left up to the vigilante crowd that is turned into a mob, they're not going to stop with the criminal, the rapist, okay? Because in their mind, the prosecutor and the police officers that were called to the scene of the crime, they're all on the criminal side. So they themselves are criminals. They have committed a crime for not prosecuting the crime. All right? So the mob is going to take them out too. And it doesn't just, if it ever gets to this point, it needs to be a large, perhaps even 3 million people should just go in and clean up London, clean up the UK. And I don't want to say that but it's the truth. I may never be allowed to go to the UK because I'm hurting someone's feelings, and I'd be arrested at the right as I got out of customs. But that's fine, I guess. It's getting to the point. I hope we're not there yet, but it's getting to the point where these vigilantes will take the law into their own hands, especially the fathers and brothers of these victims. And the outcome will not be pretty. It will be bloody. And I'm sad to say that. Okay? But justice will be done. And to tell you the truth, these representatives should fear the very people that put them in that job. Because it will be those people who take them out of that job. And it's not just, hey, you're fired, clean out your desk. It's, I mean, do we really have to take an example from French history? I mean, the French Revolution, okay, or when the civilians went in and took out all was it the king and queen? Took out the royalty, cut their heads off, and set up a new government. Does the UK and Europe have to do that? Australia too? Because that's the next step. If the governments of these countries do not prioritize their own civilians and put these immigrants above them, the civilians are going to remind them who put them in that position. And again, it's not going to end well. So these governments need to take this as a warning, not a threat. This is a warning. This is a promise. Okay? That the very people that voted for them will be removing them from their position, and they are not going to survive it. Now is the time before that happens is to fix what they have done, and then to resign, because they do not deserve to be at the desk that they are currently at for having allowed what they have allowed, and the outcome will just turn on the news. Turn on your X app, your Twitter app. Because what I see is disgusting. And if you need to follow President Trump's lead and have a mass deportation of all these immigrants, and majority illegal immigrants, then do it for the sake of your country. I mean, these Muslim immigrants come to a so-called Christian nation. They could have, and I'm hoping a lot have, they're just silent. They're not doing anything to stop the Muslims that are committing these crimes. They're just being quiet. But at least they're not committing crimes, okay? Some people can say that. But they're not doing anything to prevent or go against the ones that are. If that was happening, I'd be less... if there was a rapist that raped a UK girl, and the Sharia court, or the Sharia law people, arrested that Muslim and held him accountable to not only the Sharia court law, but also the English justice, and handed him over to the UK police, I'd be like, okay, maybe there's hope for this. But they're not even doing that, because it's fine for them. Because it is okay for a Muslim man to rape a non-Muslim woman. It's okay. But when they go to a nation that is not Muslim and commit these acts, it's a crime. And the UK should have said, fuck Sharia law, fuck your way of life. You're in our country now. This is a crime. You committed it. You're going to jail. Or you're being you're being handed over to the father and brothers of your victim, and they'll be able to do whatever you want from them. We're going to give them 10 minutes of we're going to leave you alone with them for 10 minutes, and they get to do literally whatever they want to you. And if you survive that, then you'll go to jail for 25 years or more. And I'll tell you, if anybody touches my sister or female cousins or whatever, if anybody touches my family, they're not going to survive the 10 minutes that are with me and my the men of my family. They're not going to survive the 10 minutes. It's going to take 10 seconds or less. And I expect that would be true for every single one of those victims. Because in America, we don't allow that. I don't care who or where the rapist came from. USA or Grape My Sister, I will delete you. And that's only if my dad or brother or uncles, if they don't get to you first. You don't grape American women, okay? And I want to say you don't grape UK women or European women, because there are men in those countries like me who will defend the women. All right? If you're still listening, thank you very much. I'm going to end it right here. If YouTube even posts this video, I'd be grateful. Because it needs to get out. I hope it doesn't turn to vigilante justice. Because although it would be justice, vigilantes don't have the resources or access to the intel to identify every single criminal, and there will be innocent victims of the vigilante justice seekers. And that is why I don't recommend vigilante justice. But it's coming close to the time where vigilante justice might be the only way left, the only thing left to do, the only hope left for these countries. And if it does happen, I hope it is led by someone who is preferably a cop, a good cop, that his superiors aren't willing to do the job that is necessary. So he takes control, and he has resources and access to identify the correct criminal and be able to find him and act upon real justice. But that hasn't happened yet. So, to the UK government, to the UK law enforcement, you have a little time left. To the German government, the European governments that have allowed these terrible crimes to occur and not doing anything about it, you have a few minutes left. You have a little bit of time left before the vigilantes do your job. And when the criminal's been taken care of, they will turn their eyes upon you. And let's just say the current job you have, you will not have. And you will not have the ability to do anything about it. Because when you have 1 million people at your door, your guards aren't going to protect you. Perhaps they'd be the ones that actually turn on you. Prove to the mob that they are not with you by taking you out. Reminds me of a few Praetorian guards in the Roman history. Maybe we should have a few of those act right now. But anyway, let's go and end this video and this podcast and think about the future, about what is in your control, what is not in control. And remember, when you do vote, do your research. The person that you are thinking about voting for, who is this person? What do they believe in? Do they support your morals, your faith, your religion? Or are they going to allow foreign immigrants to tear apart your country? And personally, I think these government officials are being paid by a few billionaires, and they're being used, voluntarily being used, they're being paid and manipulated, or paid to manipulate their government and their country. Because the deep state, or whatever you want to call it, has a plan, and they can't do it with peaceful societies, but they can do it with corrupt governments and societies that are in chaos. And they want peace, and to the point where they will do anything to get that peace. And the deep state, the people behind the curtain, the ones that are manipulating all these things, the syndicate or whatever, from Mission Impossible and the bad guys in Bond, they all kind of shine a light on what these secret societies, the deep state, the people behind the curtain, what they can do. And I don't know if we have a James Bond or an Ethan Hunt to stop them. But I do know we have me. We have 3 million UK citizens. And we can do a lot with that. I know there are more Americans like me. And there is at least one German man that is willing to protect a German lady. And then we have Poland. We have Poland, who has said no to the UN regarding refugees and immigrants. And Poland respects and loves their citizens and puts their citizens above the immigrants. Poland, you're awesome, and I wish more European countries followed your leadership and your example. I respect you, Poland. Let's go and end it there. But keep up the good work, Poland. I wanted to mention you earlier, and I just got a little sidetracked. But I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you very much for listening. Consider subscribing, and also consider subscribing to my Bandcamp for $3 a month. You get access to almost 3,000 of my songs. And be more like Poland and America. If more countries put, I totally believe in America first, but that is me as an American, okay? It's America first and America's allies second, but it's a close second. If I was Polish, it would be Poland number one and Poland's allies number two. The UK, it's UK should be number one, two, UK citizens, and their allies come second. And that's the way it should be for every country. And if it was like that for every country, we negotiate and we trade to make all of our countries better and all country's civilians' lives better, that would be great. Let's go and end it there. Thank you very much for listening, and I will talk to you later.